Good morning. Well, it's time for my very first ever video game double review, where I'll be taking a look at both Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Sonic 4 Episode 2. So, the year is 1994. Sonic 3 and Knuckles was a massive success and is easily the best Sonic game at that point in time, and probably will be for the rest of time itself. So, how do you follow up on this epic masterpiece? Will Sonic 4 just be as good as this game? Well, we had to wait 15 more years in order to get an official announcement. The year is 2009, and Sega has just announced that they are going to make a brand new 2D Sonic game to get Sonic back to his roots again in the 2D environment. And one thing that they did to create hype for the game was that they would have this character countdown poster, I guess you could say, where after every day they would cross out a possible character that would be playable in this game. I do like how they actually had Froggy on that list, because it does show they had a sense of humor back then. And as the days went by, it was just down to Sonic. And they announced that their next big game would be Sonic 4 Episode 1. And this would be an epic game, which honestly did not turn out very well, because Episode 3 got cancelled, unfortunately. Though, this is just my problem in general, I don't think games should be episodic releases. Seriously, this is a game. Just take as much time as you need to put into it in order for one complete package. I don't mind a trilogy of games. I mean, I don't mind that, but still. Just look at Kingdom Hearts 3. People have been waiting for that game over the course of a decade until it finally got released in 2019. Just wait to see how long it takes for Episode 3 to be released for this game. Oh wait, once again, it won't happen. But anywho, for this, I'll be taking a look at both Episode 1 and Episode 2 in this one video, and I'll have timestamps to tell you which place I'm at. So if you look at the video bar, you'll see when I take a look at Episode 1 and when I look at Episode 2. Now, one thing I want to mention real quick before we get into the actual game is that the people making it are dimps. You may recognize them as the people who made the Advance trilogy, which, fun fact, Sonic Advance was my very first Sonic game. Either that or Sonic Battle, but anywho, they also made the Rush duology and the DS/3DS ports for games such as Sonic Colors, Generations, and Lost World. And one other thing I want to mention for this game is that at first it was going to be a mobile exclusive until it became a mainline Sonic game. And honestly, that kind of explains a lot judging by the graphics, so yeah. Well, anywho, is this a worthy successor to Sonic 3 and Knuckles? Well, the short answer is no. And you're probably wondering, why am I taking a look at this game after Sonic 3K? Shouldn't I look at the other games beforehand? Well, I decided that screw it. I'm just going to look at this game real quick and get it all over and done with. And no, Mania will not be the next game I take a look at. The next game will be Sonic Adventure. Mania's review will be after the Boom trilogy is done. So, there. Now, let's take a look at Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Episode 2. In terms of story, Episode 1 doesn't really have that much of a story to it. All we do have for a story is that Robotnik is back, turning animals into robots, and it's up to Sonic to stop him. That's right, just Sonic, no Tails, no Knuckles, no Amy. It's a story that's really simple and to the point, which is fine, I guess, but I do have one major problem with this game's story. That being no Tails in this game. I'm fine with Knuckles and Amy not being here, since this game is a sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so Knuckles would be on Angel Island guarding the Master Emerald, which is fine and good. No harm there. Amy, well, we don't really know what happened to her after Sonic CD until the Adventure games, so yeah, I'm fine with her not being here as well. But as a sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it feels so out of nowhere to not have Tails in this game. He's supposed to be Sonic's best friend. He would drop whatever he's doing to help Sonic defeat Robotnik/Eggman no matter what. Now, while yes, there is a reference to Tails in this game, it doesn't excuse the lack of Tails in this game, since I get it that they wanted Sonic to be the only playable character, but in terms of the characters themselves, it seems really out of character for Tails not to be here. So, how does Sonic control since he's the only character in the game? Well, for starters, he can do a lot of his previous moves, those being the spin dash, the roll, and bouncing into enemies. And once you jump up into the air and press the X button, he will do an air dash, I guess you could say what it is, but still. And stuff like the regular shield, which grants you an extra hit returns, including the invincibility shield. Though, unfortunately, the elemental shields are now gone. So, bye elemental shields. And also, the Insta Shield is also gone. But instead, Sonic has the homing attack, which is an ability that he carried over from the 3D games. Now, look, I'm okay with Sonic using the homing attack in 3D because of the fact that 3D was built around the homing attack and it kept the pace of the level going, so it never felt like, oh hey, I have to homing attack enemies because I have to. While yes, there are parts of the 3D games where you have to homing attack enemies in order to press on, it always felt like you were going at a fast pace. Here in Sonic 4, whenever I do the homing attack, I swear it feels like the game slows down and the pacing of the game just feels off to me. And also, since Sonic has the homing attack, it practically makes bouncing into enemies worthless, since while yes, it does sort of make bouncing into enemies in the 3D games pointless, the homing attack was necessary to make it more easier to destroy enemies. But here, it just breaks the game in half with how broken it can be, and even makes boss fights easier in this game. Also, I know a lot of people have brought this up, but Sonic's momentum in this game doesn't feel that right compared to the previous 4 entries. Because whenever Sonic runs, it just feels awkward in my opinion, and doesn't help whenever you let go of the controller. Even when Sonic is running down a deep hill, he'll just stop in place. Wait, what? And it's even more weird when you have Sonic roll up into a ball, and when he goes up a loop or something like that, I don't know what to say, you actually have Sonic go out of his ball form, and if there's an enemy, well, congratulations, you just got hit. Wait, what? That's stupid. The whole point of rolling up to a ball and doing, the bounce or something like that, the roll-up attack, when you go up a hill or something, is to help to take care of enemies in the air once you're going up. But here, it just makes you easy pickings. It doesn't feel like it's my fault, it feels like it's the game's fault. Returning in this game are special stages. In order to unlock special stages, you need to collect 50 rings in a stage, don't get hit, and don't die. And once you reach the end of the stage, you will see a giant ring, much like in, say, Sonic 1 or CD, and you need to jump into it. But make sure, when you see that screen go there, and you see the giant ring, jump into it and do the air dash, so that way you can jump into it on time. Because there have been times where I've tried to done it, but I missed it by a short second, and I accidentally couldn't get into the ring. Now you could just say, oh Sean, jump up and you'll go into the ring. Well, there's a 50-50 chance of that because there's a time limit to you trying to get into the special ring, because if you cross that checkerboard thing with the whole signpost, and if you don't go into the giant ring on time, you will have your controls locked and Sonic will finish the stage and you have to move on to the next act of the zone. And this can get annoying because it feels like it only gives you 3 or so seconds to jump into the ring when it's there. It's annoying, and that means I have to replay the level, collect 50 rings in a stage, and make sure I don't die or don't get hit. And while yes, the stages in this game aren't that long, having to replay a stage an extra 3 minutes of a level can get very tiring, and I haven't done it so many times, and it gets annoying. But once you get into that giant ring, you unlock the special stages, which are sort of like repeats of Sonic 1's, except you control the stage to get Sonic to the Chaos Emerald. These stages aren't that big of an issue. While yes, you are on a time limit, it's not that big of a deal since there are balloons that will give you extra time. And also, if you feel like you're about to lose, you can just pause it and you'll see a retry button. And if you click on that, you can restart the special stage from scratch with no harm, no fault. So, it kind of makes the whole retry button kind of pointless since you don't lose any lives. But anywho, there is one issue with these special stages. That being the bumpers. Screw these bumpers. These will be the main cause for you getting sent back and hitting the red check marks. So that means you will fail the special stage and you'll have to go back to that level, recollect 50 rings and make sure you don't die and don't get hit, and go to the check post at the end and get into that special ring on time in order to have a second chance. Or you can do it like me in the final stage, because throughout these special stages, there are points where you need to collect rings in order to move on, in order to collect the Chaos Emerald. In the final special stage, you need to collect 99 rings in order to get to the Chaos Emerald. And not only do you have a time limit, but the entire stage is filled with bumpers that if you bounce into them, they are guaranteed for you to hit the red check mark and fail. So in this special stage, I decided to cheese it by pressing the pause button whenever I was about to get sent into the red check marks and retry all over again. And it got so tiring after a while. But anywho, once you collect all the 7 Chaos Emeralds, you unlock Supersonic. And I'll give this game credit, because after Sonic 3K, Supersonic became exclusive for final bosses, and you couldn't play Supersonic in the regular stages. So being able to play Supersonic in the regular stages feels nice, you know, it feels nostalgic. And I get this game is supposed to be a nostalgic throwback, but still, it felt nostalgic to play Supersonic in the stages again. And he controls fine, though he doesn't feel as fast as he was in Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But anywho, he was okay, I guess. Now, onto the stages. Since these are back to form with acts in a zone, there are 4 acts to every zone in the game. First 3 are levels, and the 4th act is the boss fight act. Once you clear Act 1 of Splash Hill Zone, you are able to tackle any zone in any order you like, and even in any act you like. So if you wanted to, you could do, say, Act 3 of Bad Gear, then Act 2, and then Act 1. But I prefer to go Act 1 of a stage, then Act 2 of a stage, and then Act 3. Why? Because it feels like I'm progressing through the level itself, rather than taking on the harder act first and then the easier act. You know, to make it feel like I'm getting better at the game, even though this game is pretty dang easy. But still, in terms of the zones themselves, there's Splash Hill Zone, which, yes, is Discount Green Hill Zone, though you have to deal with jumping from vine to vine in some parts. It's okay, it's just a there stage. It's an easy beginner stage for the game. Then there's Casino Street Zone, which, yes, is based off Casino Night Zone from Sonic 2, where instead you have to deal with card gimmicks, which I do like. I do like the whole card gimmick in Act 2, where it can make you farm for lives, and that's how I got 99 lives and was able to get the achievement for getting 99 lives in the game, which is very easy to get because of this stage. And also, I really like the card gimmick in other parts of the stage, like I get to use them for platforms. And there's a part of the level where you homing attack a deck of cards, and because of that, Sonic can run on those cards. It's pretty cool in my opinion. And then there's Lost Labyrinth Zone. Yes, it is based off Labyrinth Zone from Sonic 1, and you think that the water would be a pain in the ass here? Well, actually no. Honestly, the water sections are the least bad things in this zone. It's pretty dang easy if you ask me, but everything else can screw right off, because for one, there's parts where you have to balance on rotating balls in order to move, and if you slip off, you will fall into a bottomless pit. And then there's my least favorite gimmick in this stage, the stupid as hell light gimmick in Act 2, where you have a torch and you need to carry it around in order to press on with the act. And then there's the minecart section, which I hate because, much like the Mach Speed sections in Sonic 06, if you don't press forward when you hit something, you will die. And it's annoying. Then there's Mad Gear Zone. Sorry, I couldn't contain my fairy tale reference, but still. This is based off Metropolis Zone from Sonic 2, and yeah, you can kind of see where I'm getting at with these zones. They're pretty much rehashes of 2 zones from Sonic 1 and 2 zones from Sonic 2. But anyway, with Mad Gear Zone, it's all about moving around gears, and much like the rotating balls in Lost Labyrinth Zone. Though, since this is based off Metropolis, you have to deal with slicers, astrons, and shellcrackers, and since you have the homing attack, they're pretty easy here, so I guess they're no longer a threat. Oh, and there is one act in the zone where you do have to face off with this one thing that is pretty much, if you get hit by it, it will kill you, so watch out for that. So that's the stages for this game, including a final zone, but we'll get to that in a minute after I talk about the bosses. But in terms of the zones themselves, again, I'm not a big fan of these because they're just rehashes of old zones. Now, yes, Sonic Mania and Generations also reuse levels. I was fine with it there because at the very least in Sonic Generations, it was meant to be a tribute to the Sonic series, including stages from the old and newer games. It felt like a great tribute to the series, and in Mania, I'll complain about it there, but at the very least, in both those games, they add their own unique flavor to it, you know? And while yes, they try to do it in this game, it just doesn't feel that special compared to when they do it in Sonic Mania or in Generations. It feels kinda shallow in my opinion, because you're trying to pass these off as new original zones when they're just carbon copies of old zones with minor new gimmicks to them. It feels lazy. Oh, and also dimps. Just because you put speed boosters and springs everywhere doesn't make great level design. It just makes the game feel like it's playing itself. As for the bosses, once again, these are pathetic. Now, even though they are based on previous bosses, they feel a lot easier, mainly because of the homing attack you get in this game. Though they do try to make some differences, like with the Wrecking Ball, he does a wind-up attack. With Casino Street's boss, he is able to grab Sonic, which, while yes, he was able to do that in the original Sonic 2, in this game, when he grabs you, he will drop you into a spike pit. With Lost Labyrinth's boss, it's actually a different fight where it's about, you know, trying to avoid pillars and going into the right one in order to attack Robotnik. And for Mad Gear, it's about, well, first off, it's the Metropolis boss, except the little Robotnik things that drop after you hit him, they can actually hurt you. And after that, you go into a second phase where it's about chasing Robotnik and homing attacking him enough times. Then, once you have that done, you see a brief cutscene of Robotnik trying to escape, and we see only reference to Tails, as there's a rocket with his logo on it, as it makes Sonic go to the Eggomatic, the final stage in the game, which apparently Dr. Robotnik has been taking advice from Dr. Wily for how his final stage is a glorified boss rush with barely any changes to them, and after you take care of those 4, you deal with the final boss, the Death Egg robot from Sonic 2, and I just want to say, screw this boss fight. Now, sure, would this be a good thing that the game finally gave me something of challenge? Sure, yeah. But when the boss sucks so badly because of how cheap it is more of a con than a pro. Seriously, how was this boss fight given the green light from the developers? First phase is pretty easy thanks to the homing attack, but after you hit a certain amount of times, it then goes berserk, and this is when the boss fight can go screw itself, as its attacks become more unpredictable, and it'll become all electrified, and if you touch it by accident, you will take damage losing rings. Also, it will do that whole rocket fist attack like in Sonic 2, except when it's going berserk, it will go up in the air and then come down. And there might be a chance that it might end up on the far left of the screen, where you can bounce onto it 3 times and it will go back to the machine. Though there are points where it will land near the boss, and if you bounce on it 3 times, you will be sent back into the boss, or that was just a case of me when I played it, and you will take damage. What the hell? That wasn't my fault. That was the game's fault. And he'll even attack you with homing shots, or whatever they're called. And in order to get him to his desperation move, you need to attack him 23 times and land 1 more, equaling 24 hits on the boss. I say this because it took me more than 23 hits on the boss in order to defeat him and get to his desperation move. Seriously, I get that the developers wanted the boss to show off all of his moves, but I'm sorry, when I hit the boss enough times for it to go to his desperation move, it should go to his desperation move, no matter what amount of attacks I haven't seen from him. It would be like if you were to fight, say, the Lingering Will in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and you got him down to his last bit of HP, and right as you did the finishing combo, it did nothing. Why? Because he had to show off his desperation move. That wouldn't feel fair, that would feel annoying. Oh, and let's talk about that desperation move real quick, because he will do that whole homing thing where it feels like he's trying to attack Sonic, but it goes all randomized, and he will attack a random part of the platform. You need to attack him right then and there, or else you will die and have to restart all over again. Now, when I first got to this part, I had 0 rings left. If I took one more hit, I would be dead. So, I jumped in the air, I saw the homing reticle pop up on the boss, I pressed the X button, and I died. I died because I had 0 rings, and I had to restart the entire boss all over again.
It was all for fucking nothing!
Now, I understand I had 0 rings left, but I'm sorry, when the homing reticle says, oh, it can allow you to attack the boss, I should have been allowed to attack the boss and win the fight. This is bullshit. Once you finally defeat the boss, you get the ending where it recreates Sonic 2's ending of Sonic running away from an exploding egg station as Sonic goes back to Splash Hill Zone, and there's actually 2 endings. Now, for one, you can have the normal ending, but if you collect all the rings in this part, you can have the Supersonic ending, which changes nothing really other than Supersonic. Even if you collected all the 7 Chaos Emeralds, you still have to collect the rings in this ending part just to get the Supersonic ending, which kinda makes the whole good ending of getting the Chaos Emeralds kinda pointless. But you see Sonic recreating the Sonic ending pose as you end the game. Oh, and there's a mid-credit scene where we see a to be continued of a silhouette of Metal Sonic. And yeah, that's it in terms of the game's whole narrative and stuff. Gee, it feels like I skipped something. What did I skip? Oh right, the graphics and music. Oh sorry guys, I just wanted to get all that stuff out of the way since those take a while to get to. For the music, it's forgettable really. There's only 2 tracks I really remember. Those being the opening title theme and the final boss theme, but that's because I died so many times, it just went on endless loop in my head. But yeah, other than those 2 tracks, the soundtrack is pretty forgettable, if I'm being honest. In terms of graphics, the game itself looks okay. The best part I can say about the game's graphics are the backgrounds for the stages, because while yes, they are lifted from previous games, the backgrounds look great in my opinion. In fact, my favorite little detail in terms of the graphics is how in Splash Hill Zone, in Act 1 and Act 2, it's at daytime, and in Act 3 and Act 4, it's at sunset, which shows the passage of time in the level. Another detail I do like is how if you hold the control stick up, Sonic will be looking around the level. It's charming, but now it's time for me to talk about my issues with the game's graphics. For one, I don't like the cel-shaded art style for this game, mainly because the characters in this art style just look weird. They don't really fit with the backgrounds in my opinion, and it just feels distracting. I don't really know how to explain it, it just looks off to me, okay? That's just how I feel. And another problem I have with this game's graphics is them using the modern designs for Sonic and Robotnik. Wait. Please, everyone, put down your weapons and your Pico Pico hammer. Please. I don't hate these modern designs at all. I love them, especially Dr. Eggman's design. It's my favorite design for the character. But please, if you just give me a moment to explain, I promise it will be a good answer. Okay?
Chaos!
Oh shit!
Blast!
Thank you. Now, let me give you my explanation for why I think these designs don't work for this game. Now, let me say this again. I adore the modern designs for the characters. In fact, I was born in the year 2004, a whole year before Shadow the Hedgehog came out. So I grew up with these designs. I grew up with Green-Eyed Sonic. I grew up with Dr. Eggman's red jacket that he has in the modern games. But what I'm trying to get here is that I feel like for a game titled Sonic 4, they should not have used these modern designs. Because if you look back at the previous 4 games, throughout Sonic 1, 2, CD, and 3K, the designs felt consistent with one another, and it always felt like a continuation of the story and characters. Because, don't get me wrong, I understand why in the 3D games, Sonic has a new design, because they needed a design that would work for 3D environments. But having it be in this game, which is supposed to be a sequel to Sonic 3K, it just seems out of place, you know? This is one reason why people consider Sonic Mania to be the true Sonic 4, since not only does it feel like a classic Sonic game, but also because of the fact that the character designs match well with the original games. Seriously, look at the designs for the characters in that game. They feel consistent with the designs of that of the classic games. Okay, was that a good explanation? Thank you. Anyway, let's just go on to my concluding thoughts of this game. So that was Sonic 4 Episode 1, and if I'm being honest, it's pretty mediocre, if I'm being honest. This game is short, but honestly, it doesn't feel like this game should have been 2 separate episodes. I get it that they wanted this game to be an episodic release, but still, because of the fact that Episode 3 got cancelled, it just makes this entire game feel pointless since we're never going to get a continuation. Now, I get it, sequels get cancelled, but still, this game should have just been 1 game in total, given how in Sonic 4 Episode 2, spoiler alert, in that game, there are also 4 zones. Why not just have so many zones in 1 game, rather than it just being 4 per entry? It makes no sense. But anywho, as a sequel to the classic era of Sonic games, it doesn't really hold up that well as a sequel. On a standalone game, Episode 1 is perfectly fine. Though, if I'm being honest, most of my complaints mainly come from the fact that as a direct follow-up to Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, it feels lacking. So for Episode 1, I'm gonna give this game either a 5 or a 6 out of 10. It can go either way because honestly, I don't really have any plans of revisiting this game in the future, and will only pick it up if I'm bored. But even then, there are tons of other games I can play, even in this series alone. In terms of story, Sonic 4 Episode 2 takes place immediately after the events of Episode 1. You wouldn't know that by playing the game itself, but by reading the tie-in comic for this game. Don't you just love it when you have to pay extra money and then read a book in order to understand the plot of a video game? Now, sure, you can make the same argument with the classic games, but at the very least with those games, that was a product of its time, where in that time period, video game plots were exclusive to the manual. And at the very least with those games, the manual came with the game itself. So, honestly, this is just a problem with this game, as we didn't need to pay extra money in order to understand a plot as simple as this. Oh, and also this is still a problem even to this very day with Sonic Forces. Or you can take the better option and look up the comic on YouTube and watch it there, so that way you wouldn't have to pay extra money for a game like Sonic 4. But yeah, I'll link the comic video in the description for anyone who wants to watch it, so yeah. Anyway, back onto your regularly scheduled review. After blowing up the egg station in Episode 1, Sonic lands back on Earth, where Tails tells him that Little Planet from Sonic CD is making its annual return, and after Sonic gets a flashback of what happened in Sonic CD, he decides to go there and check it out, knowing that Dr. Robotnik will probably be there to pull the same thing he did in Sonic CD, or just, you know, do anything evil. So they go off, and lo and behold, they were correct, as Dr. Robotnik is back up to his evil schemes with the returning Metal Sonic. You're probably wondering, how is Metal Sonic back in this game? Well, that's explained in Episode Metal. It is pretty much a lock-on edition if you have both Episode 1 and Episode 2 on the same system. I have both of them on the same system, that being the PS4, but for some reason, I never unlocked Episode Metal, even though I beat the first game before playing Episode 2. So, yeah, I never got the chance to play Episode Metal, so I looked it up on YouTube. And for Episode Metal, Dr. Robotnik finds Metal Sonic in Stardust Speedway, which is a plot hole since it's in the bad future for Stardust Speedway, even though this game takes place after the good ending of Sonic CD, so it being in the bad future for Stardust Speedway makes no sense. But anyway, by using Force Lightning, Metal Sonic is brought back to life and has to go through the same zones from Sonic for Episode 1. And I'll admit, even though I didn't play as Metal Sonic, he is pretty much the exact same as Sonic played in Episode 1, which makes sense since he is a robot copy of Sonic. And he also finds this dark core purple energy thing that gives him much more power. And yeah, it's up to Sonic and Tails to stop Metal Sonic and Robotnik. In terms of gameplay, I must say, they did a really good job here because, for starters, Sonic has all of his moves that he had from Episode 1, except he controls really well in this game. They really fixed the momentum issue I had from Episode 1, where he actually feels like he has some proper weight to him, especially when he jumps. So, good job, Dimps. You did a really good job with Sonic in this game. Though there is one new thing added to the gameplay for this game, that being the partner system. Now, this isn't the first time we've had a partner system in a Sonic game, but for here, I actually really like it. Don't get me wrong, I really like the partner system in games like, say, Sonic Heroes. And while I love Sonic Heroes, for this game, I think the partner system is different but works really well. For starters, since Tails is with you the entire adventure, thank God he's here because seriously, why wasn't he in the first episode? I'm still not over that, by the way, but anywho. All you need to do is press the square button, well, if you're like me playing this game on a PS4, and you will do one of 3 tag team moves. Number 1 is a double spin dash, which destroys any enemy in sight and can even destroy brick walls. Number 2 is a flying move where Tails carries Sonic in the air. And number 3 is for underwater, where Tails holds onto Sonic and is able to use his twin tails to swim underwater faster, like a turbine. And I must say, for this partner system, it's pretty fun in my opinion, though I do have one issue with it. Unless you're playing multiplayer, you can't play as Tails, which is odd, since wouldn't it make more sense for it to be sort of like, say, Sonic Heroes, where you can switch between the 2 characters whenever you want? Seriously, it's not that hard, and before you say, well, Sean, like you said, you could play as Tails in multiplayer, I didn't have someone to play with, so sorry Tails, I didn't get the chance to play as you in this game. But anywho, there is one last thing I want to talk about in terms of the gameplay, that being the special stages. Now, in order to access to them, they are pretty much the same thing as Episode 1. Collect 50 rings in the stage, don't get hit or die, and at the end of the stage, by the signpost, jump into the giant ring before the time ends, and you will go into the special stage. And guess what the special stages are in this game? That's right, the half-pipe structure from Sonic 2, and I must say, they actually do this a lot better than in Sonic 2. For one reason, I might add. That being, in Sonic 2, the major issue when it came to having Tails in the game, when you're playing as Sonic, is that with Tails, he would have a delayed reaction by a second, and because of that, there would be chances where Tails would accidentally run into a bomb, causing you to lose rings. But here, I don't know if this is a glitch or not, but for some reason, whenever Tails ran into a bomb, he never lost any rings, so I must say, either A, this is a glitch and it lucked out in my end, or B, this is in the programming, and I must say, if it is B, thank you developers for fixing this issue from Sonic 2. But I must say, the special stage music can get annoying after a while. It just loops in my head over and over again, and I just hate it. But anyway, once you collect the 7 Chaos Emeralds, you can once again go supersonic by pressing the triangle button. I must say, he does feel a lot more like supersonic than in episode 1, but he still doesn't control as well as in, say, Sonic 2 or in Sonic 3 Knuckles. But I must say, Supersonic is a joy to have in this game, and he's pretty fun. In terms of music, it's pretty good. Honestly, it's a lot better than in episode 1 soundtrack, because for this game, the soundtrack is actually pretty fun to listen to. I really like the techno themes for the levels, and I really like them. My favorites are easily the ones from Sky Fortress Zone. It's a pretty cool theme, and I also even like Oil Desert's theme. Not much to say about the soundtrack, it's just pretty good. As for the graphics, the game looks so much better than episode 1, and yes, I know I've been saying that throughout the entire video, but it keeps repeating because this game is a hell of a lot better than episode 1. For starters, the graphics look amazing for the characters. It's in 2.5 graphics, and the characters all look good, even if I still have a problem with them using the modern designs, because it just doesn't fit well for me for a game titled Sonic 4. But still, the graphics look this good, and the levels all look beautiful. Each one looks outstanding, and I really like the designs in terms of the aesthetics, even if they are borrowed from previous levels. But even so, the aesthetics for this game look great. Now, onto the zones. Starting off, we have Sylvania Castle, and I must say, it's a pretty good opening zone. Now, while yes, it is like Aquatic Ruin from Sonic 2, with this zone, I do like how there are multiple pathways in it, which is something I always want in a Sonic level. And I must say, for the boss, it was pretty funny how they made it feel like it was going to be a repeat of the Aquatic Ruin boss fight, but then it becomes a plant robot and destroys the pillars. That was pretty funny. Though I'll admit, I did have some trouble with it until I realized I could use tails in the air in order to homing attack the boss. White Park Zone is honestly disappointing because it has such a cool concept. Taking an ice level and a carnival level and combining them into one. It's a genius idea, except they don't do that. Really. In fact, when it comes to the 3 acts where you're playing through the level, and not counting the 4th act because that's the boss fight, with it, you have 2 of them which are ice themed, and 1 of them which is a carnival. And they don't mesh at all. They don't even interact with each other in terms of the gameplay of the level. The only time they ever combine into one is when you're playing through the ice acts, where you see in the background the carnival. But even when you go to the carnival in Act 2, all it is just a roller coaster themed. And while yes, it is cool, come on, this is a carnival for crying out loud. Try to add something to it, like Carnival Night Zone from Sonic 3 Knuckles. That would have been genius. Or better yet, why not just combine both gimmicks into one and make one amazing creative stage? It's right at your fingertips, guys. And as for the boss fight where you're attacking Metal Sonic, I must say it is a pretty fun boss fight. Not much to say, it's just pretty fun. Then there's Oil Desert Zone. Okay, even though it is a combination of Oil Ocean and Sainopolis, and while I do like those 2 zones, I am aware some people don't like them, but here, this zone is perfectly fine. I must say, I don't have an issue with Act 1 or 2. They're perfectly fine, and I honestly do enjoy them. It's Act 3 where I have an issue with it, because you know how in Sainopolis Zone, there was that one part where you have to race against the clock in order to make sure you don't, crush into the ceiling because of the rising sand? That's the majority of Act 3, and it is pretty annoying, especially given how tight it can be at points. It honestly gets annoying, and the boss fight doesn't help it, as this is the one boss in Episode 2 that I don't like, mainly because of the fact that it gets really repetitive trying to dodge the crates that keep falling down, and overall it just gets pretty annoying after a while. And then in the second phase, it's pretty pathetic, as all you need to do is just go to the far left or right of the screen and make sure to dodge, and then perform your super rollout attack, and boom, you beat them. Pretty pathetic, but even so. Finally, in terms of the stages, we have Sky Fortress Zone. Well, not finally, but for right now anyway. Sky Fortress Zone is easily my favorite zone in the entire game. Now, yes, it is just Sky Chase and Wing Fortress Zone, but when I played Sonic 2, I always like to see them as one zone. So here, it doesn't bother me, And besides, this zone is honestly pretty fun. For the Sky Chase part of the level, while yes, it is like Sky Chase Zone, it feels pretty fun, and I even like how you can do a barrel roll here. It's pretty cool. And also, I really like how there's even a mini-boss at the end. That's interesting, I really like that. As for Act 2 and Act 3, they are so much fun. I love the platforming, the turbines that you can use in order to go up places, and overall, it's just a really fun zone. The boss fight is okay, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I genuinely had a blast playing through this zone. Though I will admit, it's not one of the top 10 best zones in any Sonic game. Well, it might be, I don't know, but it's just a fun zone that I can play any day of the week. Now, on to the final zone of the game, the Death Egg Mark II. Now, this is a one-act zone, well, not counting the second act, which is just the boss fight. For this zone, it's a pretty fun final stage. It's not as good as, say, Death Egg and Sonic 3 Knuckles, but it's a pretty fun one. I really like how it's all about going up and down all around, how the level rotates and stuff. It's pretty cool in my opinion. And I even like how you have a nice callback to the Metal Sonic boss fight in Sonic CD, even if it ends the same way, with Metal Sonic still not learning his lesson on learning how to stop when there's a door shutting down. It's not that hard, man, not that hard. But as for the final boss, it's decent. Though I will admit, I do like how they actually try to go for an original final boss this time, unlike Sonic 4 Episode 1. But still, after you defeat the boss fight, you see the game's ending, where Sonic and Tails are in escape pods with Little Planet still trapped inside the Death Egg Mark II. Wait, really? That's the ending? I collected all the Chaos Emeralds, and this is what I get for an ending? I mean, okay, I complained a lot about Episode 1, but at the very least in that game, they gave us a to be continued with Metal Sonic. Here, since we're not gonna get an Episode 3, it just feels weird to not even have any build-up for a possible sequel. Seriously, guys, but I guess this is the ending to Sonic 4. Though, I do want to bring up something with the levels real quick. Even though I enjoyed them for the most part, I do have one issue that comes back from Sonic 4 Episode 1. That being the returning springs and dash pads. These come back with a vengeance, and oh dear god, I do not like them in this game. Because, think about it, Sonic controls so well in this game that what's even the point? I know it's something that Johnny said in his review, but still, it's a problem nonetheless. Since Sonic controls good in this game, it makes you wonder why even have these speed boosters and bumpers in the first place. And also, red rings are in this game. If you don't know what red rings are, well, these were introduced in Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations. But here, they only serve as a trophy or achievement. That's all you get from collecting all of them. Thankfully, you only have to collect one in each stage, but even so, it's not really that worth it. I might do it anyway, because why the hell not, but still. But I guess that's it for Sonic 4. On to the concluding thoughts. In conclusion, Episode 2 is a better game than Episode 1. It's not great, but I had fun with it nonetheless. Though there were two things I forgot to mention in this review. Number 1, why the hell did Sonic have to collect the Chaos Emeralds? I mean, this game takes place immediately after Episode 1. Did he just misplace them? And if you're wondering what's this game's obsession with Sonic CD, well, that's because this game was released a couple months after the Sonic CD port that was made by Christian Whitehead. So I guess this game was meant to market that in some way. I don't know. That's just what I think. Okay, guys? Okay. Anyway, now for the rating. If I'm gonna give this game its own individual score like I gave Episode 1, this game gets a 7 out of 10. It's not great, but I did have a fun time with it, and, well, it's not a game I would go back to every day of the week. It's still a fun game, and I can play it every now and then. Now, as for Sonic 4 as a whole, since we're never going to get an Episode 3, I would probably give this game a 6 out of 10. It's mainly Episode 1 that holds it back from being good. And I must say, before I played this game, I played the classic games beforehand because I reviewed those games before this. It does feel like a major step down in quality. especially compared to, say, Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So, I guess we can say the true Sonic 4 is Sonic Mania and just leave it at that, okay? Okay. But, anywho guys, that's it for Sonic 4, and next time we meet, we'll be taking a look at Sonic Adventure. See you all later and have a great day. Bye.